by the strongest bedsheets and the dumbest thing we've ever heard. Coming down the back stretch is Maxwell the Mossad agent moving ahead of dumb, horny celebrities, but coming on the inside is leveraged politicians and a blackmail operation. It's Binders Bondy followed by 10,000 hours of footage. Awful footage. Boxes of evidence is challenging for second going into the clubhouse turn. Passing on the rail is a creepy temple that looks like Ellen DeGeneres studio backdrop, followed by cardboard in the windows, a giggling Bill Gates, and in general, you always have to be careful. Here they come, spinning out of the turn. Epstein didn't kill himself is in the lead, but here comes Cash and Bongino. No arrests and public outrage are neck and neck, and down the stretch they come. Pedos run our government is pulling away from disappearing victims by a length, but coming in strong is no videos exist, but I saw the video, and nothing is wrong. Binders Bondy is passing phase 1, and at the wire it's Epstein. Did hang himself, there is no list, and a massive scandalous cover-up.
I would watch a full-length feature film. I would watch a full-length feature Seabiscuit film, but made of like Epstein biscuit. Just call it Epstein biscuit. We're gonna work on it, but like, yeah, you just do that. Just make that, Jerry, and I will buy a ticket. You've bought a ticket, ladies and gentlemen, to the Benny Show. Today is Monday, February 16th, 2026. Democrats changed their tune on mass migration, but something bigger is happening. The world has changed forever this past weekend. We're going to talk about how Epstein is connected to all of it. It's wild. The moment that we are living through, you shouldn't miss it. It's very, very special. Clintons were finally grilled on Epstein. That's part of the problem here, is that they've never been asked a question. The old guard is dying. The old world is dying. And it's, well, given forth to something very, very exciting and new. And we're going to seize on it, because what's new, ladies and gentlemen, is actually what's old. The old way of doing things. Nationalism, pride in who we are, expansion of our kingdoms, expansion of our worldview, not being diminutive, replaced, downtrodden, thrown aside, ashamed of ourselves, not taking ourselves out of the gene pool, living our values, expanding once more, building empires once more, building new things, creating things that drive humanity forward, landing on other planets, landing on the moon. Creation, the act of creation itself, which draws us near to our creator. Evil can only destroy. But those who are aligned with our creator, well, ladies and gentlemen, we create, we build, we expand. There's something remarkable that is going on right now, and it is really exciting, and we're going to take a second to appreciate it on the show today, along with the destruction of evil, which is the Epstein list and everything that went on inside of the Epstein list, including the eating of babies, the human and child sacrifice. We've talked about it extensively on this program, and as we surveil the wreckage of what we've learned about our elites, it's time to not only prosecute them, but also, I would argue, probably public executions at this point. When it comes to the message that we must send to a new era, when it comes to building something beyond the satanic and dark evils of the past that has always bound our leaders, always. It's not something special. In fact, this is the way that most leaders, this is the way that most ancient leaders existed, with child sex slaves and human sacrifice. This is the Aztec Empire. The Aztec Empire, not that old. The bringing of Christendom to the New World, not that long ago. There was child sex slaves and human sacrifices right on the, like in America, in this country. Some could argue today that there's still human sacrifice. And, well, that's now been proven true. But the point is that there's a time to shuck that off and rid ourselves of it, to expose it, bring it into the light, drag it kicking and screaming, and put an end to it. And it's a vibe that's really exciting right now. and we're going to lean into it on the show. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Joining us today live will be Congressman Greg Stube and Victor Marx, legendary Victor Marx. He's running for governor in Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, sponsor of this program, partner of this program, Paleo Valley. They make an unbelievable beef stick, great for protein, obviously something that most men are horribly deficient in. Most men do not get enough protein, do not have enough testosterone. Most men on this planet, sadly, by design, have been castrated. Not by choice, but by the environment that is toxic that we live in. So you can re-engage by eating enough protein, working out, getting sunshine, vitamin D. You can start making great, healthy choices for yourself. Paleo Valley is one of those choices. It's a health and wellness brand focusing on creating nutrient-dense food sourced from organic products that are good for you and the planet. Clean protein on the go. Look no further than Paleo Valley's 100% grass-fed beef sticks. Beef sticks specifically for people that will need a satiating snack, ravenous for lunch. If you're running or working out, and you can get really hungry. I certainly do every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, have these on hand. They're 100% grass-fed, keto and paleo approved, organic, fermented, contains, of course, 0 carbs and 0 sugar. Sounds too good to be true, but they're not. They come in great flavors. So head to paleovalley.com and use the code Benny at checkout for 15% off your first purchase. Paleovalley.com, use the code Benny at checkout. Okay. We've been eating our protein. We've been, working overtime, and we announced that we're having our 5th child this weekend. And so I just want to say thank you to the chat. God bless all of you who've been praying for us. I want to talk about this for just a second, because having 5 kids puts us the exact same level as the Partridge Family, actually. Same number of children. I'm 1 child away from being the Brady Bunch. I'm 2 children away from the Von Trapp family. So I feel like I can speak with a little bit of authority on fatherhood and big families. And I just want to tell you, if you're a young person watching this, that you have been lied to systematically, aggressively, by a system, a corporate system that hates you and that wants to steal from you the only thing that has ever brought purpose to anyone's life, which is the act of creation and procreation. And actually the act of self-sacrifice. You know, you're only here because somebody sacrificed and gave you life. Your parents, it wasn't fun raising you. They took huge risks. And your parents, no matter what age you are actually watching this, your parents decided to do the selfless, honorable thing and continue not only our race, our people, our culture, but our worldview. Because that's truly what children are, is the vessels of our belief systems and our values, which are precious, more precious than anything. And when you grow up in a culture like I did, you watched Seinfeld, which there's no shame in that. I love Seinfeld. But some people watch Friends. I never really got into that. A lot of women watch Sex and the City. And they believe that the penultimum was actually just living a nihilistic single life inside of an apartment somewhere, being a corporate slave. I work at Citibank, right? I work for Starbucks corporate. I got a job at JP Morgan. I'm so successful. And you wind up at the wrong side of 40, and you're an alcoholic, and you're also addicted to drugs or porn or anything else that society gives you to fill the hole that is left, that is in the shape of having a family that loves you and that gives you the opportunity to actually pass on that selflessness. And it took me too long to figure this out. You know, my wife and I are what you'd consider older parents, right? We're both on the wrong side of 30. And a lot of people can get families started in their 20s. I will say that it makes it, I think, a little bit harder, but I don't regret it when people tell us, you know, it goes by fast. I think you feel that when you're a little bit older, actually. You actually understand the time horizons a little bit better than I ever did in my 20s. So I'm not regretful of it. I'm regretful of not preaching enough to young men about what purpose in life actually looks like. And this is what it is. It is not what is being sold to you. And let me explain this very simply and succinctly. God commandeth you, go be fruitful and multiply. You know how hard you have to abuse a mammal? You know how hard you have to disconnect a mammal from its natural instincts to procreate, for it to not have a desire to do that? Young people are not having sex. Young people are not having families. And this, of course, is a catastrophe for our people. This is something that is the single most pernicious evil that has been a war waged against us. Dropping a nuclear bomb on this country would be less damaging than what's been happening at the birth rate. Our entire systems, our entire way of life is utterly unsustainable as the population continues to collapse. As you continue to not have people to carry forward and carry forth the legacy of heritage Americans, of our people, of our land, of our value system. We have to make more Americans. We have to make more Christians. It is an act of total societal evil and deep deprogramming to get us to decide that we're not worth saving. It's the end state of nihilism, that I shouldn't continue to exist. That the sacrifice that my parents gave to me when my parents were raising my ass, which was no fun, okay? And neither was it raising you. You were a pill. You were a handful. As every child is. And your parents and your grandparents sacrificed in love to give to you. Why would you take that? Why would you not pass that on? To have you, to create your life through an act of God. This is ultimately what's up. There's a lot of influencers out there who claim to be in favor of conservatism or conservative values, but they don't practice this. They don't practice what they preach. I tell you from a guy who's been on the other side, who's on the other side of alcohol addiction, degeneracy. You know, I believed that lie along with tens of hundreds of millions of other young people. I believed that that was the end state in life. And I believed that perhaps my life and my lineage wasn't worth continuing. I'm telling you, the thing that will connect you the most with your Creator, which is what you should seek in life, because it gives you purpose, fulfillment, and a mission, is the act of creation. Creating the most important thing, which is more human life. That is why God's first commandment to us as men, his first commandment to us as men, Adam in the garden, is go be fruitful and multiply. Tend to the garden, make sure there's lots of, apples. But multiply. Multiply my creation. This is his first commandment. It wasn't the 10 Commandments. It wasn't the Beatitudes. So that's a Sermon on the Mount. Those are all very important. But the Creator's first commandment to us is, I have made you in my own image. You're different from the animals. And because I've made you, you should create also. And when you begin that act and you do so in the sanctity of marriage, then you get so close with God and you hear God. You can feel God. His power in your life. And the more you do it, the more he blesses you. And this isn't prosperity gospel. I'm saying literally these children are a blessing. But it is evidenced in the child itself. The moment you hold that child, I'm so looking forward to it. The moment you hold that child, it's like nothing else on earth. It's like the deliverance of an angel from the heavens. Like the heavens open and an angel, like a brand new life that God gave you a part in creating, you hold an angel. You hold an angel. And I do not cry. I might yell a little bit. You know, you've probably seen plenty of times in here where I'm like, on election night, I was screaming and popping champagne bottles. Nothing compares to that feeling. It actually fundamentally rewires your brain. Your brain changes forever as a man. Frontal lobe, all the way through your spine, all the way down to your brainstem, across your brain. Your entire life gets rewired and repurposed. That's why successful men often have huge families. This is, in fact, a sign of generational success and always has been to have a large family. Conquerors, warlords of Europe, so on, they have big families for this exact reason. It is a status symbol, frankly. And I'm not saying big families, any families. I'll take, you take anything. But I just want to start with a heartfelt plea and to use this platform to speak out against these lies. These lies are created by evil globalists who want to see the end of our people. They want you to take yourself out of the gene pool, and it's so much worse than a nuclear bomb. It's so much worse than some type of genocide that they could do to us, because that takes a lot of time, that takes a lot of effort. That would cause war, you know. It's a lot easier to just get us to stop procreating. And then you can end in a generation or two the American people. So I implore you, align yourself with your Creator. Have more babies. Make more Americans. Make more Christians. Seize this moment and march into the life that God has set before you purposefully, because this is what God intended for you. This is God's first command. And when you're in God's will, then many wonderful, wondrous things begin to happen for you. It's my prayer for you this morning. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are watching wondrous things happen throughout the world. Hillary Clinton, for instance, finally being asked about the Epstein list. This lady ran for, speaking of like, and I want to talk in large terms and on large topics this morning, but like in a microcosm, the fact that the Clintons are now not safe from the Epstein question is a magnificent victory for all of us. Hillary Clinton is at the Munich Security Conference. We're going to jump over to Marco Rubio's speech and then to something remarkable that's happening in the UK with the Restore Britain movement. And I just cannot emphasize enough how truly inspiring it is to watch the old world order collapse. And it is collapsing in real time. It is giving forth to something new, something that I wish to create and build for my children. But it is giving forth, and it's over. And the Clintons represent the old rules-based world order, which was effectively the suicide of our people, our race, our nationality, the American people. It hollowed out and gutted our national identity. It opened our borders. It collapsed our industrial base. It sent hundreds of millions of Americans to the slaughter in either abortion clinics or in fentanyl, methadone clinics. Take your pick. But this was your only option because China got your job. Abortion, suicide, or methadone. This is what the old world offered to the vast swaths of middle America. And that is now going down in flames. The Epstein list is a moment where young people are waking up, where the globe is waking up to how evil these individuals are, how sick they are in a